Hello, welcome back. I am so excited to dive into the topic today, which is centered around this current new moon in Leo, Mercury being retrograde, and the Lionsgate portal, and what you can do to really support your own highest potentials during this time. But before we dive into that, I first just want to say thank you to those of you who have reached out to me, who have told me how much you have gotten from this podcast or the YouTube, wherever you watch or listen. It really means so much to me because I truly believe that as women, we are so much more powerful than we give ourselves credit for. I also believe that when we wake up to the power that we hold, that our life will change in the most beautiful and profound ways. And I believe that as more women do that, as more women say yes to the truth of who they are, to living in their fullest potential, to seeing that each and every one of us have these beautiful gifts that must be shared with the world in whatever way that resonates and feels right with us, the more that all of us do that, the more that the world will change for the better. I believe that us doing our own work will send ripple effects out into humanity, out, throughout the globe. And I really, truly believe that this is what our world needs right now. And I believe that we all individually and collectively have the power to change the world in the most beautiful ways. So again, thank you for reaching out. I am so lit up to be doing this work and sharing these messages. And really, it's just sharing what I love, right? Like, I'm not some spiritual teacher who is enlightened and has all the answers, right? And I just want to say thank you for letting me show up messy. I am learning along the way. I have hard days. I have hard times. I make mistakes a lot. And I just keep trusting that it's all okay, right? And we're all just on our own journey and it gets to be whatever we want it to be. So when you reach out and let me know that this has served you, it really just kind of affirms that I need to keep sharing these messages and, that I know it will support you and ultimately support, right, like a better life for all of us. So truly, truly from the bottom of my heart, I thank you and I see you. And again, I do this in service to you. So it really means the world to me when you reach out and I just hear that whatever I'm sharing actually is working and serves, because that's my goal. And that's really um, what lights me up even more than just like learning some of this stuff and sharing it with you. And so thanks for being on this journey with me. Okay, enough of that. Let's dive in today because yesterday, Sunday, August 4th, was the new moon in Leo, but we're still in that new moon energy. What is a new moon, right? Some of you I know are at like various stages of your journey. Maybe you've listened to me for a while. Maybe you're just finding me. Wherever you are, it's beautiful. And I find for myself, like I can never get enough of this information. I always love finding someone new, and maybe the way they explain something like turns a light bulb on for me or gives me a new insight, right? So it's just all beautiful. Embrace everything wherever you are, right? Like I just approach life with a playful curiosity. And I actually, that's so fitting for right now because Leo is all about playfulness, right? Kind of like creative expression, fun, right? So this new moon in Leo. So new moons, new beginnings, new chapters, fresh starts, right? New, right? Just think of new. I love to host, whether it's like in a group, which I have been doing in my everyday magic community, doing new moon intention setting calls, right? So when we come together, when we are together with women and we are setting intentions as a group, right? We get to collectively amplify our energy, right? And that just creates like a potent container to allow our intentions to come to life. And it's really beautiful and really supportive. So whether you're doing that in a group setting, if you want access to something like that, like jump inside the Everyday Magic community. If you have, your own community that you do that with, beautiful, wonderful, keep doing that. And you can also just do this on your own, right? Really allow this time. Again, if you're listening to this Monday or Tuesday, Wednesday, whenever, the energy of the new moon is still active, right? So you can still do this. Don't think that you missed this window or you missed this opportunity. Get quiet, get still, right? Maybe you go out in nature and go for a walk and find like a big tree to sit under and just take some really beautiful big breaths and breathe. Maybe you simply get up a few minutes before your family in the morning and you set aside 10 minutes, 5 or 10 minutes, or however long you want, but it doesn't take long to just sit with yourself and breathe and connect to a higher power, your highest self, right? Maybe you're just like breathing into your heart space, right? Whatever feels good for you, make it easy. Don't overthink this. This is my goal, like with this podcast, with my Everyday Magic community. Don't overthink this. It's so much easier to access our own power, our own magic, the magic of life than we think, right? I don't want you to get hung up on that. Just follow what feels good, okay? So sit with that and then just see, do you have some intentions that you want to share in this moment, right? Like, do you want to meditate on some intentions that you have for yourself, for your life, for the month? Maybe it's an intention for the next 6 months or the year. I know for me, my kids are going to be going back to school in a little over a month. So some of my intentions are around creating more easeful routines, right? I find that when I'm transitioning from summer into fall with the start of school, or even at the end of school into summertime, or even around the holidays, when I have these transitions in time and routine, sometimes I notice that I kind of like fall out of my own rhythm and routine, and that messes me up a little bit, right? And I kind of start to go down my own rabbit hole in a way that doesn't feel good to me, and I don't need to share about that on this part of the podcast. Maybe I'll save that for another day. But in setting up, having intention to set up routines that will support your life, routines that will support transitions, routines that, maybe it's mealtime. I'm using a personal example, like mealtime being super rushed in the evening because you're, moving your kids from one activity to another. They're getting home from school and then they have soccer practice or whatever's going on, right? But you have an intention that you really want to feed yourself and your family like healthy, nourishing, clean foods. And that's really important to you, right? You don't want to be like stopping at McDonald's or fast food like every time there's a soccer practice or game, right? So set those intentions now, right? And then I'll show you how we can kind of like manifest and integrate those as this episode moves on. But it's really a time about getting still and seeing like, where is your attention being called? Maybe you have some of those intentions already on your mind, like what I just shared, or maybe in these moments of connection to your highest self, connection to your heart, connection to a higher being, higher power, again, whatever feels good to you, through that connection, you simply allow the intention that wants to come up. That is a beautiful practice during this specific new moon and during this month specifically, because of the support of the Lionsgate portal. And again, we will continue to dive into this, but just kind of starting with this new moon with this intention setting, right? Things that you can add to that, some journal prompts that you can add, right? It's like, what would it look like if I was doing something that felt more nourishing? What would it mean if I was living with more purpose? Where can I bring more playfulness into my life, into my day? Where can I bring more intention, right? I'm just kind of rattling off some prompts that came to me. As always, this is your journey. As I'm sharing this, lean into whatever resonates with you, whatever you're like, yes, I need that, right? If I'm talking about like soul nourishment and you're like, oh my gosh, yes, like that is what my soul needs right now is more soul nourishment, trust that, right? So as I'm speaking, simply noticing what's coming up for you, noticing what's exciting you, noticing what feels expansive for you, noticing where you're like, yes, I want to do that. I want to reflect on that, right? There is so much wisdom there. Okay. Your body knows, right? This time again, it's all about allowing you to step into deeper purpose, deeper soul purpose, allowing you to step into your highest potentials. Okay. So it really gets to be so easy when you get out of the mind, right? We slow down, we get out of the mind, we drop into the body, right? And we allow for that feeling, right? That feeling of excitement, that feeling of expansiveness. That's the soul wisdom. That's the body wisdom. That's the intuitive knowing, right? Follow that. I cannot stress that enough. I cannot say that enough. Follow that knowing. So, again, just to recap, if we're thinking about this new moon really supporting your highest potential, or even you opening up your awareness to your potential, right? Opening up the aperture to what is possible for me, right? Reflecting on what does that even mean for me? What does that even look like for me? Bringing that Leo energy in, maybe daydreaming a bit. What does the vision of your best life look like? And again, because it is a new moon, because it is new beginnings, new chapters, fresh start, can you do this from this moment? Meaning, not what would the best version of my life look like with all this knowledge, with all the wisdom and insight that I have had from my life up until this point. Okay. This can be a tricky exercise, but it's really valuable because when you let go of the fact that everything up until this point in your life, is what it is, right? But you don't have to carry that into where you're going, right? So it's not, oh, I haven't made enough money yet, so I can't really dream big about, I don't know, quitting my job and moving to Europe and buying a chateau and starting a YouTube channel. That's on my mind because I absolutely love watching those shows on YouTube. Total side note, I totally get caught in those like home renovation shows, and that is totally a dream of mine. So just a quick side note there, but you get what I'm saying, right? I want you to let go of, I can't do this because of this, right? This is new moon, right? Fresh starts. What do you want? 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 Okay. Allow yourself to daydream. And then another really beautiful practice right now. And I will continue to talk about this throughout this episode is where do you want love to flow through you? Where can you give more love? This is not a romantic love or conditional love or relationship love. This is if I am connected to my highest self, if I am connected to the sacred feminine that lives inside me, that literally has the power to give life, that literally has the power to create anything, right? This is like creation energy. This is life giving energy. This is like full expression of feminine. When I'm tapped into that in this moment, where does love want to flow through me? Where does it want to pour onto everything in my life? right? Again, this could be like as simple as like, I want love to flow through me onto the nourishing meals that I make for my family. I want love to flow through me in the way that I'm able to be so present with my children. I want love to flow through me onto my community and the way that I show up and serve them, right? So you can kind of see the idea. Love is an incredibly powerful energy to connect to at any time. I believe that love is really like the energy of magic. When you are connected to that love, to that type of love, to that amount of love, you are connected to the fullness of your being. You are connected to the power that you hold, right? The power that literally can change anything, the power that can heal. All right. And this is so beautiful, not just during this new moon, not just during the month of August, just in general, practicing this, practicing connecting to this love, even in this moment, a great practice to do this, or as you kind of continue to do this after watching this, allow yourself to sit and connect to the gratitude of something that just like you instantly can feel it and connect to it. Like something that you're just so grateful for that the second you think about it, it allows like a warmth to wash over you. It allows love. It allows, maybe it's like a tingling sensation in your body. Maybe you think of it and you just get like the biggest smile. That is a super quick and simple way to connect to that emotion, to that power of love, and then sit with that. And when you're connected to that place, right? When you're connected to that amount of love, then ask, how can I allow this love to flow through me? Where does this love want to, pour out of me onto, right? Just whatever resonates with you, just where can I share more love? Where can I be more love? These are all questions. Again, feeling into what feels right for you, but connecting to that and allowing the love to speak. That if you could do that like every morning, that will change your life. Okay. It's just like so simple. All right. Moving on to now Mercury being in retrograde. Okay. So Mercury is in retrograde the entire month. It went retrograde yesterday on the new moon, right? So Sunday, August 4th. And this is one of the reasons why this month and this new moon and this energy is so potent in supporting you in your highest potentials and your deeper purpose. When Mercury goes retrograde, it is an opportunity to bring to your mind what has been holding you back. It is an opportunity for you to see things that maybe you couldn't have seen before. It is an opportunity to release, right? Those things that have been holding you back, that aren't serving you, that just aren't going to get you to where you want to go in your journey in this lifetime. So it's a beautiful opportunity that supports, this is my intention. This is where I want love to flow. This is my highest vision of myself. This is where my soul is guiding me. Now, let me see what's holding me back so I can release it and freaking move forward. Right? Isn't that beautiful? It's like, what do I need to see? So, Mercury is also the trickster, right? Mercury is all about communication. He's also the trickster. This is why we typically think of Mercury being in retrograde as like computer issues, technological type issues, but it's so much deeper than that. So, when you are working with this energy, you can like work with it directly as I'm, just as I'm telling, saying, you can just sit and say things like, what do I need to see? What am I ready to release? What have I been holding on to? What's blocking me? What do I need to know? Right? Sit with that, truly, truly sit with that. And also just notice as you're going through the day, you kind of maybe you're thinking about something and you're walking down the street and you're having this thought, and maybe you're on a daydream or whatever, and you trip, right? Go back to, okay, what was I just thinking about? There's This is like Mercury being like, slow down. There was a nugget there. That's something you need to know. That's something that you need to dig into more. That's something that's here for a reason. I'm just bringing your attention to it, right? Because we're so in our minds all the time, and it's so easy to overlook, right? We're just thinking, problem, crap, whatever, is going on, right? But Mercury is like, no, I'm going to slow you down and just bring attention to that thing, whatever it is for you. So being mindful and noticing that, right? Maybe maybe you're going to like send a text or do something and like your phone glitches, and it's like, okay, should I not be sending this? Right? Just It's just a time to really like slow down and just see what's coming up here. Another really powerful way to approach Mercury being in retrograde is just noticing, where are you feeling frustrated? Where are you feeling agitated? What's driving you crazy? Does it seem like there is something, a pattern, or something that kind of keeps coming up? Maybe it'll go away for a little while, but then it'll circle back around into your awareness. This is something to stop and pay attention to, right? What do you keep revisiting when you're like, gosh, I need to just like let this go? Or I can't keep doing this. This is not serving me. Maybe it's a boundary. Maybe it's just something that you keep doing that you're like, oh, why do I keep doing this? I want to just stop that pattern, right? It could be a thought. It could be something that you're doing. It could be something showing up in your physical reality. Maybe it's like that person that you're dating that is another iteration of the wrong person, right? It could be anything. You're just like, I'm so tired of this pattern, right? This is the time to slow down and notice this, right? Again, it's coming into our awareness for a reason. It is time to release it. It is time to let go. And we can't release and let go until we see what it is to begin with. We need to know, what we're letting go of, and then we can work to release that. So again, beautiful way that Mercury is in the mix here supporting us. All right, let's move on to Lionsgate portal, which its Lionsgate portal is at its peak on August 8th. So 888, you've probably been seeing a lot of this. And it goes still, I believe, until the 12th of August. So again, this energy is still here. Excuse me, this energy is still here, and we get to work with it, but there are just times where it might be a little bit more potent, right? Not like the new moon yesterday, but it doesn't mean that we can't work with this energy anytime, no matter when we're listening. And like I said earlier, simply by noticing what is activated inside of you as I'm sharing all of this, that provides so much insight, regardless of what's happening in the cosmos. Okay. So just always trusting that. Okay, so Lionsgate is the spiritual sun. Okay, this is really about showing you like it's time to shine, right? It's illuminating those gifts of yours. And as you may be listening to this, you might be falling into the trap of thinking, I don't have any gifts. Like, what am I here to do? All of this stuff, right? This is the time to just start to activate that inside of you, because we all are here for a reason. We all have our own unique gifts, and they show up in a variety of different ways. I believe that we all have gifts of healing, gifts of, you know, deep intuitive wisdom, gifts of creativity, and things that are going to move things forward. And it extends way, way, way beyond that. So, again, in this moment or during this month, just noticing, where is your attention being called? I mentioned this a little bit earlier. Where are some of your interests being called? I recently shared something in my Instagram stories that I had gotten a new Oracle deck, and I was, asking anyone if they wanted to, send me a message, and I would pull a card for them. I had just gotten this Oracle deck, and I thought it would be a fun way for me to get to know the deck and a fun way to connect with, people online, people on social, getting more social. And it was such a fun activity. And what I noticed is many people reached out to me who didn't necessarily know exactly what an Oracle deck is and hadn't experienced working with them, but they were curious. Okay. And I think that we are living, from my experience, we are living in a time where we are really waking up to the truth that there are, a higher power, there are spirits, there are greater things at play that are truly supporting us. And it's really fun. And it's a fun way to, I don't know, like trust life more and let go of control more. And in doing this, maybe it's like you're waking up to, I always like to say, like maybe some witchy gifts inside of yourself, right? And that doesn't mean that you're going home and you're doing, spells at night. Though if you are, and that's like your flavor and your thing, like go do you. This is really just, we all have these gifts. We all have magic literally living inside of us. We all are capable of magic. I truly, truly believe that. And it's like when you allow yourself to kind of follow the breadcrumbs and see what feels fun and true and exciting and just interesting to you, that don't know where that path is going to take you, but it's going to be beautiful, right? Because your own inner compass, I believe it's like set for joy, right? It's like set for love, it's set for truth, right? That's like your north. So if you always just follow that, right? You always just follow that playful curiosity. You always just follow what naturally feels good, which you follow what you feel drawn to, like in a good way. I'm not talking about following like something that is toxic or bad, right? It's just like, oh, that like feels good for my soul. It feels nourishing. There's something comforting there. There's something true there. There's something relatable there. There's something, right, that I can't explain it, but I need to follow it. Like that's what I'm talking about. When you do that, like just like the most beautiful path will unfold for you, and you can't get it wrong, right? You can't get it wrong. There'll be twists and turns, and you'll learn, and it's just lovely. Okay, sorry, got off on a little bit of a tangent there, but this Lionsgate portal is really about you shining your light. And with this being, again, like around the time of this new moon, it's really about soul path. Again, fresh starts for like, what is my soul here to do, to experience, to create? And when we're talking about these like deep, meaningful, soulful things, this is not going to be something that you just like manifest overnight, right? This is like the real deal. This is like the really, really, really good stuff. The stuff that just will fill your heart, the stuff that feels so deeply fulfilling, the stuff that feels so meaningful. And again, we have to access this from our heart, maybe from our womb space, right? But it has to be like a body knowing, not a mind knowing. So, again, in this moment, like what feels so nourishing for my soul? This is really about connecting, like from that soulful place, that deeply soulful place, and then shining your light from there, right? Again, it's not who we've thought we've needed to be. It's not showing up as a person that, we told ourselves we needed to be. It's like, no, who are you? who who do you need to let go of, right? Like what masks do you need to let go of so that you can live from this soulful place and shine your light from there? That's where the magic happens, because you being so connected to the truth of who you are, and you showing up from that place of authenticity, you being completely unapologetic about who you are and what you came here to do and create, and you could give two, you know, F's about what anyone else thinks, like that is your most magnetic self. And when we talk about manifestation and we talk about living as that higher frequency, right? That is where we manifest like a life beyond our wildest dreams. And I know it takes courage and I know it takes practice and patience. And again, this time, right, with the new moon, with all these things happening, this is just here to really give you like a big giant nudge to show you what's possible, to kind of give you some permission to say like, yes, this is like what is on my heart, this is what I feel so deeply called to do. And maybe it's something that you can't even start to do tomorrow, but maybe you can start to explore it, right? Maybe you can start to explore, what would it be like if I moved out to the country and bought some land and started homeschooling, my children? What would it be like if I moved abroad? What would it be like if I let go of, this toxic work environment and I said yes to this like deeper thing that I really feel called to create in the world? Right? This is about like soul creation, right? Soul creation, soul expansion. That is the legacy. That is what we're here to leave for the next generation. That is our impact on the world, right? And when you do that, not only do you show other women that they can do it too, but you show your kids that it's okay, that they get to, shine their light in whatever way feels true to them, right? Like, isn't that what we all want? Is just to be doing the things that light us up, to feel so confident, not because we think we're better or think we have more, but that we're just so okay and so deeply rooted in who we are. And that feels so good. And we feel so grounded that no one else's opinions matter, that we're no longer comparing our life to someone else's life, right? We all have our own magic. We all have access to this magic. We all get to experience the magic. So stop trying to experience someone else's magic. Just be in your magic, right? And create from that place, right? Create your magic from your own magic. That's like that's it. That's all we got to do. That's all there is, right? So like write that giant fat permission slip for yourself to start creating from that place that deeply nourishes you. And again, I completely recognize that this is tricky sometimes. Some of us have a lot of crap that we need to let go of before we can fully step into this. But you get to start small and you have to integrate it and you have to ground into it, right? What do I mean by integrating and grounding in? What is the intention that you have? And then you ground into it by starting to take action. The smallest thing, the simplest thing. If the simplest thing for you is to daydream right now, to help you expand, right? Like what's possible for you, to help you, you know, when we daydream, we can start to shift the mind to then look for evidence of the thing that we want to manifest, right? So sometimes simply by daydreaming, it might bring images, experience, ideas, thoughts. Someone may call and say something, right? And it's like all pointing you in the right direction. Take those things as signs, right? Keep showing up, keep taking the small steps, however that feels for you, right? I'm not saying go out and quit your job tomorrow or pack up all your stuff and move to Europe. I mean, unless that totally resonates with you, like you do you. But that's not what I'm saying. It doesn't have to be something big. Again, going back to this is a soulful and spiritual and expansive time. When we think of the things that are going to profoundly impact our life, profoundly change our life, profoundly like pivot the trajectory of our life, those things don't happen overnight, right? Typically those things do not happen overnight. So patience is going to be key here, right? Don't always be looking for that next quick thing. It's really about going inward and connecting to, what does my soul crave? What is the highest vision of my life? What does my soul want to experience through me? Right? Just throwing out like a few prompts and really sitting with that. And sometimes this is, what am I not giving my permission? What am I not giving myself permission to say yes to? Right? Because I'm sure you could be listening to this, or maybe, you get off of here and you sit with yourself for 5 or 10 minutes and you're like, I know this answer, but I'm afraid to say yes to it, right? Because it feels really scary. But what if the most beautiful thing is on the other side of you saying yes to the thing that you know in your heart to be true, right? I know it still doesn't make it easy. I know it still doesn't, right? We can see this in the simplest ways, right? Like working out, right? You know that the on the other side of you saying yes to getting like okay with the discomfort of doing the workout, it's going to be hard, you're going to be sweaty, it's not going to be super fun, but on the other side of that is like a healthier, more vibrant, more active, more, happy version of you, right? But it's still hard to do the thing. So I get that. But keep doing this work. Keep connecting to what you want, and just even setting the intention of just letting myself be guided to take the next right action. And it gets to be kind of that easy, and you get to choose. You can go as slow or as fast as you want, right? But you take full responsibility for yourself and you show up, right? You integrate and you ground by doing the work, by taking the action, even if that action is doing the meditation and slowing down and going inward, right? That's an action, right? And then when you go inward, allowing yourself to see what comes up, and then taking that action, taking the next step, and doing this every single day and really integrating that. Okay, another thing that I want to add with everything that's going on that makes it even more powerful and potent and beautiful is that there is a deep sacred feminine aspect to this new moon, because Pluto and Neptune are pointing right at Venus and Medusa. And this is really just signaling that it is time for the rise of the feminine, right? It is time for you to, again, journey to the depths, connecting to the sacred feminine within you and allowing that to shine, allowing that to rise, allowing it to really radiate through you, allowing yourself to be your most radiant self, right? Isn't that beautiful? Can you imagine a world where all of the women have connected to the sacred feminine that lives inside each and every one of us? We all have access to that. And we finally connect to that. And from that place, we connect to our fullness. We give ourselves permission for the multidimensionality of our being, right? The fullness expression of our the fullest expression of our emotions, the fullest expression of our love, the fullest expression of our creativity. And when we do that, we become just so vibrant and so radiant. And that radiance will freaking change the world, right? It is the light that the world needs right now. So, again, this time is so beautiful. And, if that's not enough, just know that you're being so supported. And regardless of again, what's going on in the cosmos or how you're feeling, I know you want to feel like your absolute freaking best and actually show up and do the things that you want to do and make really positive changes in your life, whatever that looks like for you, right? It looks different for all of us, and that's beautiful. But it's time for you to show up for yourself in that way. And it gets easier when we connect, right? When we go inward, like I believe in the balance of the masculine and the feminine, but I know that too many women are really living heavily in the masculine. So, can you come back? Can you come back to yourself, right? Connecting to the fullness of your feminine and moving from that place, moving from that radiance. Okay. That is just a beautiful practice to even start to feel into. Maybe even just start questioning. Maybe that's part of this Mercury retrograde, bringing up for you, where are you living too heavily in the masculine? Where are you doing too much? Where are you pushing too much? And again, I believe in the balance. I believe in, we need to integrate, we need to ground by taking action, but we do it from the place of fullness, right? That's like the healthy relationship. We do it from the place of love, right? When we do that, we are connected to an inexhaustible energy that lives inside of us. And your days of being a tired, depleted, exhausted, overwhelmed mother will be few and far between, right? This doesn't mean that I want you to like, sleep 4 hours a night. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that when you move, when you operate from a place of love and fullness and wholeness, you will have energy. You will have this like deep power. I'm trying to like find words for it. It's hard to find words for it. And often that's why I talk about magic so much, because it feels magical. But you will see exactly what you're capable of, right? You will just feel more joyful and light and present. And that alone is beautiful, right? But even at that level, you're not even scratching the surface to what you're capable of, right? The healing powers you can bring to this world, right? Whatever gifts you have, when you're tapped into that fullness, to that creativity, what new things maybe you can create. Like, that's amazing, right? What can you create? Even that, like, what's coming up for me is maybe during this moment, just or this moment, or when you get off, right? And just sitting with yourself, connecting to your fullness, just like, what is my soul wanting me to create? What is wanting to be birthed through me? That alone is a beautiful practice to see what wants to come up for you. There is so much wisdom there. There's so much juice there, and energy and aliveness. And when you're tapped into that, that's exactly how you will feel. You will feel so alive and so on purpose and so fulfilled, right? And so connected. And it's really, really beautiful. Okay, so the last thing I'm going to leave you with here is that Leo is about courage. So, this new moon in Leo, this new moon with, right, the fresh starts and the new beginnings, and then bringing in the Lionsgate portal and soul expression and truest true north and all of those beautiful things. This is about the courage to live fully expressed, the courage to live authentically, the courage to bring your gifts into the world, the courage to allow for more magic, the courage to share your creative expression, right? Whatever that looks like for you. And I love this because I actually pulled the courage card in my oracle deck, I believe at least twice last week. So it was such like a beautiful affirmation and reminder of that. Courage is key, right? If you look at the map of consciousness by David R. Hawkins, it shows the lower frequency emotions, right? Fear, guilt, anger, and then higher level emotions, love, acceptance, joy, peace, right? The thing that shifts, right, from the lower level emotions up to the higher level emotions. So the lower frequencies to the higher frequencies. And again, it's the higher frequencies where you manifest the things that you actually want to manifest. The thing that shifts the lower frequency to the higher frequency is courage. So, where can you be more courageous? And again, I know this can be tricky, but trust that it's your time. It's your time to rise. It's your time to be radiant. It's your time to share the fullness of who you are with the world. It's what your soul wants for you. It's also what the world needs. So I hope and trust that you received the message you needed to hear today. I'd love to hear from you. Shoot me a message in the comments if you're on YouTube. If you're listening on the podcast, you can find me on Instagram at the Jess Hook. But let me know where you are. I hope this supports you. And yeah, I'm just sending you so much love and so much support. And thank you again for tuning in. I'll see you next time.